on my camera so you get to see my face, at least for the first class. Hi, everyone. It's good to see everyone. It's great to be here. Um, what do you want? Like, well, it's something that everybody is used to. As we are all decoding mom.
Yes, so no apologies at all.
We can all relate to that. All right. Time is fast spent, so I won't waste, especially for those who made it here on time. Good, good day. My name is Udeme Jaleko, and I have the privilege of being your guide in this ride of software testing. Okay, so I think we're spending 8 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me. Someone is unmuted. Okay, all right, great. So we're going to be making the most of the 8 weeks. Some resources will be shared. Um, some resources will be shared in the course of the week ahead of our next class so that we are able to catch up. There's the WhatsApp channel for you to ask questions in the course of the week. Should you have any issues while going through the materials, you can always ask questions, and once I'm available, I'll attend to your questions. We have 8 weeks, so my goal is to get past the theoretical parts and see how well we can go into the practicals, at least to introduce you to manual testing of web apps, web applications, mobile applications, and APIs, at least in this 8 weeks. So we have some ground to cover, and I hope you find it as interesting as I hope it would be. Okay, so I'm Udeme Jalekun. I've been in the IT space for a while, a little under about 8 years. I think I met TK at my very first IT job, yeah, at VGG. And while I would say I transitioned in QA at VGG, I didn't start in IT. So if there's any mother here, we'll take that just we'll go around the room so that I get to know and meet the personalities. But I just wanted to share a bit of my story and hope it encourages someone. I am not a computer science graduate. I studied chemistry, so it's something completely off. So if there's anyone here who is saying this IT thing, can I do it with Yoruba, with a degree in Yoruba, with a degree in sociology? Just know it's possible. I studied chemistry. I I was working as a customer service representative at the time, and so it means anyone can do it if you have put your heart and mind to it. Anyone can do it and excel in it. So yeah, that's just an encourager. So let's go around the room. Apart from our host, I'll take the names that I see. Adebola Ayeni, your mic is already on mute, unmuted, so you may as well introduce yourself. Just tell us a brief about yourself, um outside of your name, what you do, and why you're here. Why software testing?
Okay. Good
Adebola
evening.
Ayeni, good evening.
My name is Adibola Ayun. I've joined this coding mom for a while now, trying to understudy. Even when I started from the data analysis, I said, I can't do it. I studied political science and I'm a hairstylist. How do I connect and how will I be able to perform in this area properly? But later on, when you are trying to pair people and all, and I saw the training, I was like, okay, if I've been on this platform for a while and I just have to try something. But from what you just said now, I just have to, it is compulsory. Because I was thinking that I can't even navigate both what I'm doing right now and being a data analyst and all that. But with what you just said now, it's really changed my mind and I'm ready. Thank you.
Glad to hear that. Well done. Rebecca Oyegbabi. I hope I did not murder your name. Please. I'm not good with names. Forgive me in advance. So Rebecca. Okay, I think Rebecca is in the spirit. She's not here, or maybe there's someone who has our attention right now. So we'll move to Joy. Hey, I hope I don't murder this name. Joy, please let me just mention your first name. Permit me.
Good evening, fellow moms. My name is Joy Babaoye. You're free to moderate because it took a while for me to get a grasp of pronouncing my own surname. I'm joining this call from Abuja. Currently working as a customer experience professional in the power sector. Now, I joined because I have a keen interest in noticing why things are. Like, for example, you're using your phone and it's looking a certain way. I'm always like, oh, this should be a better way. Even some of the apps in the office, I always question IT guys. I'm like, why is this app like this? Can't we expand it like this? Why is it that when we view it on this phone, it's different from when we view it on this phone? So I did small research and I discovered that my questions actually fall under quality assurance testing. So that's why I'm here.
All right, great one, Joy. We're going to see what you were doing, what it is called in today's first class. Glad to meet you. Adeton or Donikon. I tried, I got this one. Hello, Tom. Rebecca, if you're back, would love to hear from you. Is Adeton here?
It's not really sick. I'm on fasting, so
Oh,
why I
okay.
am is not easy. Yes, yes.
I can't really hear you. If you can use the chat, it would be great to introduce yourself. We'll move on to Adedipe Juliana. I feel like I'm doing better with the names now. I'm having more confidence. Adedipe Juliana, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening. Good evening, TCM. My name is Juliana Adedipe. So I think our stories are almost the same. I study physics with electronics, and then I have a background in customer care. So I I just want to transit into tech, majorly because of money. Because we are all looking for money. This was my response in the first interview I had with a mentor who actually trained me on software testing, manual testing, last year, October till December. So presently I'm doing my intern with HNG. Don't know if you're familiar with that. And currently I'm in stage 7. So, but then there is I it I'm still hungry for more. I want to get more of it. I want to get more of it. So anytime I see any opportunity that they want to learn something or some people are coming together, I want to just
get involved so that I can get from here to then get from here then to build myself up. So that's a brief I can give about myself.
All right, Juliana, to meet you. To meet. Um, all right, Jolomi Esther.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, it's Jolomi Esther. Okay, for me, I'd say I studied accounting. I'm currently a final admin and logistics officer. I reside here in Abuja. I once did some training on mobile app development and some little brushing up on front end website development. But at some point, I felt coding was a little bit stressing for me because of my kids, and also I was like, the other part of tech that I can do that does not involve coding. So I later realized that I could do QA, I could do product management. So as I saw this thing this evening, I was like, this is an opportunity for me to start. Oh, that's why I'm actually here. And
We
don't
code
help
in
me.
QA. I hope
Uh-uh.
I've not busted your bubble. We write automation code in QA.
You want to code that? You will code. You
In
will code. You
you
win.
will code though. You will code,
Oh,
but maybe not this 8 weeks.
not as deep as okay, okay.
You'll do the highest you will do would be API scripting in this.
Okay.
But just know that you will code. In fact, let me not scare you. QA is let's just focus so that you don't run after first class. You're
All right, thank
welcome.
you.
All right. Yeah, sorry. Let me
With the mayor, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know. Zuni Babatunde, are you on the call?
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Deme. Thank you. And thank you to the Coding Mom for this opportunity. Thank you so much. So just a brief, a little bit about myself. I just transitioned into Salesforce. And though I'm still writing exams and all, but while I went for some conferences for Salesforce and everyone was asking for the niche, where do you want to focus on? Is it sales? Is it marketing? Is it, where do you want? So I've been thinking, because I am someone who has like an eagle eye for things. I want to know, why is this happening? Why is this not functioning? And also I've been brewing on it and thinking, I should actually add software testing to one of my skills to add with my Salesforce certificate and all. So that's why I'm here. I just want to understand, while some functionalities, some things are done at the back end and everything in Salesforce. So just to understand what all that is all about. So that's why. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome, Zuni. We have Pamela Oiku and Patience Ediale. I think those are the only two people apart from Rebecca who haven't spoken. So whoever is available can unmute and speak. The two P's
Good
and
evening.
okay.
Hi, good evening. My name is Rebecca.
Okay.
Hi, nice to meet everyone. Honestly, I've been on this group and I haven't done anything, so I'm been going through some stuff and I really want to pick up again. So I saw this link and I just said, let me try it out. I do application support at the moment. I'm in Abuja. I'm not a mom like everyone else. I'm not a mom, but I'm in Abuja. I do application support, so I'm familiar with application. At least it's almost like DevOps because I work with developers, we troubleshoot, do user UI UX and all of this. So I work with all of those guys. So basically, and then I actually spoke to one of my mentors, and he said I could also add QA to one of the skills that I have to really help me. So seeing this was like answer to my prayer because I literally just saw it when she said 25 more minutes. And then I'm like, wow. And I just clicked, saw the link and joined. So I'm glad to be here. Nice to meet everyone.
Okay, it's nice to have you. Application support and QA. It's a good one. It's a good combination. Are the two P's available? That's Pamela and Patience. If not, we'll proceed. Okay,
Hi
Pamela.
everyone.
Hi.
Good evening. Okay. My background is in accounting, and the only thing about tech that I know is virtual assistance. I'm just looking for something new and different, something I feel like I can do, just like trying to find a path for myself. So that's why I'm here. Thank you. And I'm joining this call from Kaduna. Thank you.
All right. It's nice to meet you, Pamela, all the way from Kaduna. Is Patience ready now? Adebola, you might want to.
Yes,
You might.
ma'am. Good evening.
Yeah. Good evening, Patience.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Okay.
can.
Okay. I'm patient. A mother of two. How I transitioned into tech. Well, it's not actually quite long ago, but I studied geography in school.
Sorry,
Then
1 minute. Adebola, can you mute? Can you mute your mic? Adebola Yani, please assist to. Yes, thank you. All right, you can go on, Patience.
okay, so I read geography in the university. I also have a master's in remote sensing. Though when I was working before, it was more of customer service, executive kind of work, admin in the office. Then when my kids were rather small, I stopped working to take care of my baby. So after that, I couldn't really go back. So along the line, a friend of mine, she's actually a neighbor in the house. She's already a software tester. So she was not like telling me that maybe I should look into career in tech instead of going back to my customer service. I was not like, why not? Though I thought it was something that would be something that I can't do. But she gave me an overview and she actually mentored me through the process. I was really glad. Even now, I'm even thanking God for meeting her in my life. So after teaching me, she was able to fix me up with where I can do internship while I train online. And here I am now. I'm a software tester in an organization. I'm doing well by the grace of God. So I still want to just keep gaining new feats and getting higher. Thank you.
All right. That's lovely, Patience. It's great to see sisters helping and building up other sisters, other women supporting women. I'd love to see that always. Okay, so with someone mentioned, I think it was Juliana, or he mentioned the money parts. Okay, so not to bust your bubble, right? Um, yes, there is money in tech, right? But if that's the starting motivation, you will not make it on first go, right? It will come with experience, it will come with how great you are at the job. It will come with how great you work with the people at the job, how good your job is. Because most times you might be in organization A and be an intern there, and because of how great you are at the job, people who either have worked with you in the past will refer you. So I'm saying that specifically because that has been my story. right? I mentioned earlier on that I met TK in a previous organization. The organization I left there for, I was referred by someone who used to work, I used to work with, right? And that was how it has been. I've been referred most times because of the quality of the work that I do. So while the goal might be to make money, you need to be great at it. And something I tell people that I'm privileged to teach a lot of the time, and I'll be telling Coding Mom, the TCM team also. There are a lot of people who are making the move the same way you are making. It's the same, it's just like business, the same way someone gets an idea to do something. Two or three other people, even more, may have gotten similar idea or an idea close to that, right? It's the execution that matters, right? You might not have all the time, but the time you have, how well you make use of it, it's is left to you. So the same way today, Saturday, 22nd March, some people are making the decision to start a career in tech through the route of software testing. Many other millions across the world are making that decision. And you're all entering the same job market, right? You still be applying to the same jobs. What would distinguish you outside of many other factors? Maybe um your LinkedIn profile, your posting, your communication, your conversation, interaction, your collaboration when you get an internship or when you're on the job, how well you do your work, all those other factors. What will actually distinguish you is your level of um, detail and how good you are at the job. So I want to encourage everyone, you're starting today, hold each other's hand so that you finish strong, because that's one phase of the journey. And the same way you're making that decision is the same way many other people are making the decision. So learn with the view to stand out. We live in a time where people get the visibility because of how well they either position themselves or how great they are at the job, and their work is speaking for them. So I'm just encouraging us before we start this journey. If you've put your mind to do this, ensure you see it through to the end and don't let it stop here. Right? If you're giving extra resources, study them. Google is your friend. We're in a time where answers to questions is one prompt away on ChatGPT, right? So do well to put in the extra work, right? Don't do the bare minimal, right? Do well to put in the extra work. Ask questions where you need to do it, an extra level of research where you need to, and then you would see the outcome of that extra work. All right. So that being said, I've spoken too much. I want to share my screen. Give me a minute. I don't know why it's not showing this. Okay. PDF share right down. Please let me know when you can see my screen. I'm sharing screen now. Why is it not showing? Okay. All right, please. All right. Great. So we're going to be looking at fundamentals of software testing. We'll be focusing on manual testing for these 8 weeks. Oh, okay, someone's hands up. Someone's hand up. Oh, okay. I thought someone's hand was up. All right. So my goal, I hope by the end of the 8 weeks, we would have a thorough understanding of software testing, the fundamentals, the basics of it, and I would introduce you into API testing. So that's what I hope to cover in the 8 weeks, right? This fundamentals bit is most likely the boring part of software testing because there's a lot of terms to learn, there's a lot of definitions to understand, but don't lose hope, don't lose heart. We'll get to the practical bits. All right. So the outcome of this first class is to leave you guys knowing what software testing is, why it's important, the qualities needed by software tester, introduce you to the concepts of QA, software testing, and QC, errors, defects, and failures. So let's get right into it. So software testing, you might have seen different definitions out there. Basically, if you're asked in an interview, I doubt that they really want to know the definition. They want to know your understanding of what you claim to do. So while you might see different definitions online, just get the key understanding of what it is, right? So what is software testing? It's a way of, some people have mentioned they're doing it to some capacity. I think Joy mentioned she looks at apps and wonders why are they looking different on different screens, on different across different devices. Someone said she works in application support, part and interacts with developers. One of the things you'll be doing is to try to replicate the issues that have been reported and try to work with the developer to see the root cause of those issues. Trying to remember some of our responses, but yeah, I think I picked those two out. So essentially, software testing is a way of you to assess the quality of applications. You want to access it in order to reduce the risks of the software failures in operation. So how many of us have installed an app, any type of app? Maybe it's a game, maybe it's a bank app or a social media app or something, and the day you installed it was the same day you uninstalled it. Is there anyone like that on the call? Okay, we have Rebecca. Anyone else? Okay, just Rebecca. Every other person has enjoyed apps. All the apps you have on your phone, and you've not installed any app. Okay, I want Joy also. All right, Joy and Rebecca, can you tell us what happened? What made you uninstall the app?
Hi, hello everyone. So I remember this particular app. After installing it, you know, I tried to follow the steps, but it was so complex. I'll click on this to lead me to something else. I'll click. At the end of the day, I was like, I beg. It's not by force. And I just deleted it immediately because I didn't have the patience to continue.
Okay, thank you, Joy. Rebecca.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. A lot of them games. I am someone that plays games a lot, so games. There's some games I just am like, what is this? Or the UI UX, or it didn't fit my screen or something. In fact, I just dated one last week. I think it's supposed to be a budgeting app or something, but I just didn't understand. It didn't make sense. So as soon as I installed it, I installed it again.
Okay, thank you very much, Rebecca. So to everyone who's on the call, actually, you hear back that the end users, because Rebecca and Joy were the end users, the customers of the application are, a lot of the time, when you're placed to work on an app, you have only one shot at success, right? If your customer downloads and installs the application and they do not enjoy using the application for various reasons, either it's not compatible with their device, either it's failed to do what it promised it will do, or what it was advertised to do, either it's so complicated or complex to understand, let alone use. For all those different reasons why you have ever uninstalled an app or ever stopped using a service or an application, as a software tester, you are chiefly responsible for checking it. So if you work on a project and the customers end up churning as a result of functional issues, it is the key responsibility of the software tester to catch those issues and speak up about it. So what do I mean here? A software tester is acting as in two ways. And I'm very sure we've not watched a movie where one person is acting as the bad guy and acting as the actor. The what they call it, the boss and the actor, right? Most of us have not seen it, but as a software tester, you are doing two things. You are standing in as you are working. First thing, you are working in the development team. You are part of the team that is building the app. Second, you are standing in as a customer. You are representing the end user of the application. So while you are part of the development team, ensuring that everything is done well, you are also countering what is being developed to see that this color, people who are color blind cannot see it. We need to change this color. You are speaking as an advocate of the customer who will end up using the application. So you are playing dual roles. You are there responsible for ensuring quality of the application. You are also standing in as the advocate of the customer who will end up using your application. So for all uninstalled apps, all apps that have been deleted for one reason or the other, it's a result of a failure that the QA either did not catch or either refused to speak up about it, or maybe spoke up about it, but the stakeholders for that product said we can still push it to production regardless, right? So you see that as software testers, you play a critical role to whether your application will be a success or whether your application will break. And ahead of time, I'll let you know, software testers, most of the time when an application is successful, they don't get the flowers. You hear that it's the developers that get the flowers. The DevOps say, okay, she's here. She's laughing already. Yeah, thank you. The deployment was smooth. They don't used to remember software tester. But when something spoiled, the first person they will call is, who tested this app? Who are the testers? So for those who have started working as software testers, I think Patience mentioned it. I don't know who else has started working. I don't know if you've had this, if you've experienced this, but if you are still new, maybe they are giving you welcome treatment. Once you are placed on a particular project, get ready. If anything should spoil when it deploys, your name is the first person they'll call. And why is it that way? Because they expect you to be the I usually call it the gatekeeper of quality. So when it's top notch, you've done your job. When it spoils, you are the first person they come for, because you're supposed to be the one who vets the quality of the app. So you are a key stakeholder in every development team. While the developers may be the ones looking like they're the ones doing all the work, right? You have a crucial role, key power. You can say this application will not be deployed for XYZ reason. I refuse to sign off on this application if it doesn't meet standards. And even if he's an engineering manager, he's compelled to fix those issues that you have raised. So another thing that you may have heard if you are familiar with software testers is you hear that they say software testers and developers are always fighting war. And today this one say, why did you shift my tax back to rework? That one say your tax did not pass the standard, you failed this thing, and they're always like enemies. We'll get to that part in future. That one is off. It deals more with communication skills and collaboration, but that's off the focus for today. Okay, so I think I'm talking too much. But essentially, we know what the duties of a software tester is for any application from this sample. And your job is to reduce the risk of software failures. Rebecca and Joy uninstalled the app for X reason. That is a failure. You have been paid for some months. You had the application hosted a team of people that were paid, not for the end users to start uninstalling the app. So that is a failure. right? Software testing is much more than just executing tests. It's much more than just saying this pass, this failed, this pass, this failed. It's not just ticking a checkbox. It's more than that, right? There's a way you think. And I think someone mentioned it also. There's a thought process that comes with it. And those are some of the crucial things, characteristics of being a software tester. So the test process starts much earlier in the project with activities such as test planning, reviewing documents, which can be product documents or can be actual code. So for the, I don't want to scare anybody, but that one is advanced. Just fear not. Just know that it's in the future, right? It comes with learning. There are categories of software testers that are supposed to read through codes to approve PRs, for example, for developers, right? That one is still advanced. That is those type of software testers. You hear software development engineer in test. You may have seen that on LinkedIn or seen people with that title, and you're wondering which one is SDET, which one is SDET. They're actually software developers, but they focus on testing, right? So that one is advanced, or fear not. All right. Other test activities occur before test execution, such as identifying test conditions, designing test cases, implementing test procedures, etc. So we'll be seeing these things in details, but let's just skip through. So outside of executing tests, that is when you are actually testing the phone. So they give you a mobile app and they say test it. And then you pick the app and the first thing you want to do is to sign up, right? So you launch the app, you download the app, you install the app, and then you launch the app. You can't log in because that's the first time you're interacting with the app, right? So the next thing you need to do is to sign up or create an account for that app, right? So you've already started testing, right? You've executed some steps, which is install the app or download the app from a Play Store or App Store, install the app on your phone, check that it's installed correctly, click on the app to see that it launches the app. Those are steps you are taking, and you're documenting those steps. You're executing tests that way, right? Before you even get to that test execution where you are giving the actual application to test, there are other testing activities that happen before then. So someone has an idea in TCM and says, we want to build a TCM mobile app. Maybe TK comes and says, let's build a mobile app for TCM community. And everyone says, yes, that's great, that's great. Then one person asks, okay, so what should the app look like? What should the app be able to do? Why do we need the app? What problem is the app going to solve? Right? Tokumbo then says, oh, that's true. I need to write out what this app will be about, what features should be on this app, what the app should be able to do, etc. Right? She then gives it to a business analyst or to someone who then writes out and answers all these questions about the app that is to be developed. That person then writes it in a document called, so this document is given different names. It can be called a PRD, product requirement document, or BRD, a business requirement document. Essentially, it is a document that contains the application that is about to be developed, or this system that is about to be developed, what it is about, what it should be solving, and what features it should have, all the information you need. Most of the time, from idea, I have an idea, I want to do this idea, you need to write down what that idea is about. So the PRD or BRD, which is business requirement document or product requirement document, is a document that captures the idea of what you want to build. So software testing starts as early as when that idea is conceived. Most of the time, Remember when I said I made that scenario, that example that TK comes and says, I want to build an app for TCM, and everybody goes, ooh, that's great, that's great. And then one person comes and asks, excuse me, what is the app supposed to do? What features are supposed to be? Most likely that person that is asking all those questions is a software tester. Because those are the key things that key questions that the tester asks. That's how a tester's mindset is programmed, to ask the why. To one of my mentors will say, um, um, trust only God. Everything else, trust only God. Everything else, test it. So essentially, what does it mean? It means other than God, every other thing that you are told, test it and be the one to say that is true. If they say this is color white, first ask to receive the item. Get something you are verified to be color white and check here and compare and say, yes, it's color white, right? So that's the reasoning, that's the type of mindset that comes with great software testers. They question why. Why is the login here? Why didn't we put it here? Why do you want to create a mobile app? What is it supposed to do? Because most of the time is when you ask those questions that you begin to spot issues, right? And a lot of the time, for those who are already working in software testing, you hear them say, testers come, we need to explain ourselves, right? It's part of the skills that comes with software testing. So embrace it if you're someone who is always inquisitive and questioning why. Essentially, software testing is not just you ticking a checkbox that this thing works. It's a way of a thought process. Is you questioning why? Is you thinking through, reading through the requirement documents to spot out things that you feel are gaps and pointing it out early enough so that the team goes back to think again about the application and then to come up with answers to the missing gap. Most of the time, some products fail because they were not. I've worked on such a product before that was not properly thought through. Someone just had an idea and had money and said, let's build the app. No one sat down to ask certain questions, certain hard questions, right? And so everybody, they just hire people, build the app, and then when it hits the market, customers are having these questions, having these issues, and they're not able to answer the why, and the project dies or loses interest, or they move to a competitor, right? So as a tester, getting and reviewing the requirement documents is as important as you testing the actual end product. So yeah, just to emphasize that. So I've mentioned some reasons why it's important, and I've mentioned some objectives of software testing, which is to evaluate the documents such as the requirements, user stories, design documents, etc. You even review the designs. Like I said, there are some people who are color blind, and you then put an orange and yellow in your logo. Like, can anybody imagine that combination? You put a light orange, you put a yellow, you then put a lemon in your design. You now say that's going to be your brand logo. Can anybody picture a login screen with those three colors? Can we picture a problem around that? Hey, I hope I'm not the only one on the call now. Are people still here? I'm almost tempted to say praise the Lord. Am I alone? Hey,
No, you are not.
everybody has left me. Okay.
You're not alone,
So,
no.
all right, great. So just imagine you pick an app, is lemon green, or is let's say lemon green. That's the logo of the app. Then the landing page has yellow, orange. That's light orange, not dark one for contrast. Light orange, then lemon green. Maybe the background is yellow. They now use lemon green as text. Can you imagine Will you like when your first interaction to the app, you just hit the landing page and you're seeing that color? How will you feel? At least me, I use glasses. I know I will first wonder that what in the world is going on? What is happening? Gone. Because it will be hard to read. I don't know if any of us have noticed, it will be hard to read text. Most times you put there's a white background and there's a black text or blue text, something dark. So there's a reason why it's contrasting, because it's easier to read, right? A tester will first come when the product designer comes with such a color and say, Oga, what's going on? Can you read this text? People who are colorblind, how do you expect them? So you're already speaking for colorblind customers, right? So software testing is holistic. Yeah, let me just proceed. Time is fast spent. So you evaluate, you find defects and failures. This is one of the key things many people say they do in software testing, finding defects and failures. But we do more than that. There's more to it. You gain confidence level of the quality that is built. People who have used applications that really work, that they say they can't do without, you have gained their trust and confidence. For example, people will say they would rather use an OP or a money point than use a bank app, their normal bank app. In fact, it was that bad that the banks had to up their service when these players came into the room. How many of us actually agree with that? Right? Banking services took some significant turn when these players came in, right? So they gained, why were they so successful? They gained the confidence of their users. Their products gained their trust. So you hear people say OPay or PAMPay, once I get the alert, or once I know that the issue will be resolved, I don't need to, it won't be like a GT app, or let me not call names, or a bank X that you have to go, they'll say give it 21 working days. How many of us still remember that era of you go to the bank, you stay in a long queue, they give you a form, they say in 21 working days or in something days or 3 months time, they'll fix and resolve the issue. When new players stepped in and they gained the trust of their users, every other player had to up their game. So as a software tester, you build the confidence level of the quality of the system you are building. You provide sufficient knowledge to stakeholders. So software testers provide reports that tell the state of the application being tested. Yeah. So here's where I wanted to go to. I know we are okay. We still have some time. So qualities needed of a software tester. I started by introducing myself as a non-computer science graduate, someone who studied chemistry, which is a pure science, and have been in this space for a while now. So anybody can do software testing if you have the quality and the mind for it. And what are some of the qualities? You need to be able to effectively communicate. I know this is TCM, a bunch of us are moms, and it's something that should come with motherhood, knowing how to communicate, something that will come with marriage and motherhood, learning how to intelligently communicate, um, um, knowing how, having mutual respect for people, knowing how to collaborate, right? This is a key attribute for software testers. You need to be able to verbally, in written form, and through interaction, communicate very well. Why is this important? I cited an example of how software testers are never remembered when the application is great. Like, remember, we have successful applications, right? And we cited or some applications that we know they are doing great. We cited examples like Money Points. We seldomly hear anything about the QAs of Money Points because it's a success. But when something fails, for those who are in this a software community, when something fails, oh Lord, you don't want to be in the team in the office when something fails. It's usually ugly. You hear who tested the application? Where is the test report? Why didn't you see this bug? Why is it broken? In fact, so you need to be able to. You will be speaking with several stakeholders, right? You'll be speaking on behalf of the customer, because every time you are testing a test case, you are seeing it from the eye of the customer. If I'm the end user, will I enjoy this process? If you're saying I need to do step 1, 2, 3 just to create an account, but I've seen another app that I just need to do step 2 steps, 1, 2, I'll go to that app. So you're already thinking like the customer that is comparing applications, right? So you need to be able to verbally and in written form express yourself. That's one thing that Nicola also said, is how well you do at the job that sometimes determines how much you would grow in this profession. Being able to intelligently communicate, not being afraid, but speaking up, communicating issues and communicating it in a way that you don't put someone off. I've seen QAs talk to developers as if, okay, because he wrote a code that didn't pass, it doesn't make him a bad person, right? I've also seen developers complain a lot about QAs and speak ill about QAs. And anytime I'm asked a question, how do you deal with a team where the QA, they don't listen to the QA, or they don't respect the QA, blah, blah, blah. I usually answer this way. You need to be able to let your developer know that you are an asset to them. How? You are writing we are in the same team. Let's establish that fact that we are on the same side. We are in the same team. I'm not your enemy. 2, I'm here to ensure that whatever code you write is good, so that when it hits the end user, it would be only a good experience they will have. So I'm here to spot out anything you missed or you may have overlooked. So I'm like your extra eye. You can't be fighting your extra eye. Do you understand? You need to be able to communicate that to people. And I tell QAs all the time, you need to be able to communicate in a way that they will get it. If you're working with a CTO, that's a chief technical officer, that maybe doesn't value, sorry, it's raining, give me a minute to close the windows. All right, thank you. Apologies. So if you're working in a team that you feel they don't value your input or they don't listen to you, it still comes back to effective communication. How then do you get the attention of the people? Because we have established that you're a key stakeholder in the success of the application. So you need, if they're not listening to you, or one issue or the other, you need to be able to communicate that I'm on this. The reason why you are on this team is to ensure the success of the application, right? And there's so many beautiful, intelligent, smart ways to communicate that will not raise disputes, right? So communication is very key. I've seen, and I'm sure TK2 may have experienced it in the course of their career, individuals that have great technical experience, that know it, like they can code fire, but without effective communication, they can be in the same level for years. They will not get a promotion. They will not get a better paying job. They might join a new team and they may be asked to leave after a while. Effective communication is very important. It's as important as the technical skill you have. So let me not overflow that. Next is critical thinking. So when you see, how did I even transition into QA? I transitioned by mistake. So at that time, I was learning HTML and CSS. I wanted to do more. I wanted to do more than just. Okay, someone has a question. Someone's hands up.
Yeah, I can see your
Juliana,
screen
please
again.
go on. Oh wow, I'm actually sharing that.
Oh, I think
Okay, let me
network.
stop
I can
sharing
see
and
your
share.
screen. I can still see
Oh,
your screen.
because it's showing that I'm still presenting.
So I think it's the rains that is affecting the network.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. You have heard the familiar sound of a child crying. Okay. Please, critical thinking. Um. So I was going back to how I transitioned into QA. At that time, I was working as support, and I was a bit tired of managing clients, escalating issues, troubleshooting, and doing first line defense. I was getting weary of that. So there was a particular issue that happened, and I tried to replicate it. Like the customer was very furious and angry, and I knew it wasn't happening on my end. We didn't get the report from other people. So there was something about this customer that only this customer was facing this, and this person cannot be this angry over something that does not exist. So after the call, I took time to capture the issue, and after the call, I tried to simulate it. So I tweaked different things on the app, just trying to see, is it possible that I can get what this customer is suffering from, right? And after different manipulation, I eventually hit something. I can't quite remember what the issue was or the steps I took, but I eventually then hit something and was able to replicate the issue. And I was like, wow, because once the customer complained about it, I just wrote the report and sent it. But I was really concerned as to that because every other person wasn't getting it. So I kept working on it. So the QA in the team at that time, when it got to that ticket, when they wanted to resolve, it came to ask that she needs to understand the issue, that she's not able to replicate the issue. So I then told her, yes, she actually will not be able to replicate the issue, that I've seen that the issue is unique to the customer, that she should do X, Y, Z, she should remove this, add this, do that, should see the issue. So she then did it and she saw the issue. She said, oh wow, you've helped me to debug the issue already. Have you considered doing QA? And she laughed and went. And that was like a seed that she sowed subconsciously. And I said, what's this QA and software testing about? And that was when I started researching it. Why am I mentioning that? A software tester is someone who is a critical thinker, someone who wants to know the why, wants to know the how, wants to know what will happen if I do this, what will be the outcome. Doesn't just accept things hook, line, and sinker. Is eager to know what will change if they apply a different angle to it. So you need to be, as great as effective communication is, you need to be a critical thinker. You need to be willing to accept the why. If to ask the whys. If you just accept everything, you won't do great in software testing, because it means that if you're giving a BRD, you will just say user should be able to log in. You receive a BRD that starts with login. If you're not thinking critically to ask, why is the BRD starting from logging in? It's only users that have an account that can log in. We should be talking about how to create an account. You get it's someone who is actually thinking as they're reading the document, they're trying to play it in their mind. That's critical thinking. That's where you are able to spot out the missing slots. A couple of weeks ago we did I organized a security testing training, or I anchored one, and the person who was analyzing saying a lot of the time what hackers do is just look out for the gaps, look out for where you didn't specify this, you jumped this, that missing link, that's their entry point. So that's why penetration tester, their job is to come out of the application and look for those missing links. And it comes with critical thinking. It comes with you not just accepting. And they say it's login that is the first thing. Let's do login by asking why, by stating there's something missing. Critical thinking. Technical skills, yes, this comes to the there's the technical skills part, how to write your test reports, how to use test management tools like Jira, ClickUp, how to write or script in a programming language, how to use testing tools and frameworks, etc. There's the technical skills that comes with training, right? That you can get with training. There's the analytical skill, which is close to critical, meaning you need to have an eye for details. You need to be passionate about continuous learning. This passionate about continuous learning is the benchmark for anybody that wants to go into tech, right? If you don't continue to learn, and that's the thing about technology. If you don't continue learning, if you stop at where you were 2 years ago, you will just notice that people who started 3 months ago know more than you, or have an updated knowledge. Regardless of what the tech field is, continuous learning is a must. That's what gives you the leverage. Today, everybody's talking about AI, AI, AI. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it good? Is it going to replace human beings? Is it this? And I say something, and I know you've heard it before. AI is not going to replace jobs. It's people who know how to use AI effectively that will replace those jobs, right? You need to know the latest things, apply it to your field, and be good at it, right? That's what distinguishes people for excellence, essentially. So yes, continuous learning, curiosity, and discipline. So all right, enough of that, of the objectives, and we've seen the objectives, and we've seen the skills that QA should look at. So what is QA and how is it different from software testing? There's this debate these days that for those who are following software testers, there's this huge debate about there's nothing like manual testing. There's nothing like automation testing. Everything is testing. While yes, everything is testing, and everything is software testing. Everything is about you ensuring quality of the application, right? It's just what differentiates them, or what people who coined this name were trying to do, was to try to see how do we separate when I am testing using a tool, or when I'm testing using my hand, my eyes, my brain by myself, right? So that's where I think the difference between manual testing and automation testing, those words, where they came from. But essentially, software testing is software testing. Whether you are using a tool, or whether you are doing it with your hand, your eyes, your head, your brain, you're doing it all by yourself. So quality assurance consists of two words: quality and assurance. Assurance means checking that it's fit for purpose. Hence, you can say that quality assurance refers to methods and processes that you take to ensure that an application conforms to expected requirements. So remember when I said you have a requirement document where Tokumba has mentioned all the great features that she wants the TCM app to have. They now give the developers now pick that document, QA picks the document and review the document. QA asks all the questions they want to ask. Developers ask all the questions they want to ask, and development starts. When it comes to the QA, if development can occur in different phases, and we'll see it in the course of this class. When it then comes to the QA will be checking. They said this application should be able to give me a feature that a TCM mobile app should have.
Like tracking progress, daily
Okay,
progress. Yeah.
Daily learning progress, right?
Yes.
Okay, so a TCM mobile app should be able to, you see, you have jumped before we track progress. We should have done many things before we reach there. But thank you, that was a good feature. Track progress. So it means that if you want to track progress of what is what, if you had written it in the BRD to be able to track progress, the software tester would have come and put a comment on that acceptance, on that requirement, or that specification, and say progress of what in the BRD, progress of what are we tracking? So that's you already testing the document that was given to you. Then the person comes and corrects it and says track progress of learning. Okay. Next question will be, how is the learning done? Is it going to be done in the app, or is it going to be done outside of the app? So you see how your questioning is helping to build a more robust system, because the funders are not thinking, oh, it's true, we can actually have classes in the app, or we can have external classes using Google Meet or Zoom. It means that we need to be able to link and connect participation from those externalities to the app. So you see a conversation, a thought process is building because of one question you asked, right? So essentially, software testers are needed. So where was I going at? We want to be able to track learnings, right? So you had a requirement that states that when it comes to your table to test, you will be testing to ensure that you can track learnings correctly. So the score of, if Joy has 2 attendants, we are not switching 2 attendants to Pamela. There's data integrity. There is no mistake. There's no switch. We're checking that the metrics for determining good learning is clear. If the metrics is that the person must have 100% attendance, the person must have done all the assignments, the person must ask questions in class, you should be able to outline what that metrics would be on the app and be able to check for all the students, attendance, participation, assignment completion. That's what you come up to say good learning. That would be the meaning of good learning. So when you are testing, you see that it's not just testing one line. Good students have good learning. You see that there are many things that come under that good learning. What's the definition of good learning? What metrics determine good learning? Is it participation? So if it's participation, how many times must the person answer a question in class for me to say it is good participation? If it's assignments, how many assignments, or what's the score on the assignment before I determine that it's good? These are questions that QAs ask when they see the document. So as they keep asking the question, they keep saying, oh, okay, we missed this thing. Let's modify it, let's correct it. So even on the document, whenever you're given a document to study, there's a lot you can do as a QA tester on it. All right. So quality we said quality assurance consists of two words. I'll be sharing this slide with you, or this material with you for further learning. So software testing involves exploring the application to check how it operates and possible defects. Quality assurance is typically focused on adhering to proper processes. So this is how I usually differentiate these two: quality assurance and software testing. Quality assurance is like the umbrella, it's like the superset, and in it comes software testing. Software testing's major goal, quality assurance is, see it like I use this example a lot. I don't know how it came to my mind, but look at it as a tunnel that has two sides, the entry point and the exit. Quality assurance is a set of processes inside that tunnel that is geared at ensuring that whatever you put in the entrance of that tunnel, once it goes through all those processes and it meets all those processes, the output of that application is going to be a good application. So see this as the tunnel. Inside the tunnel are processes. Check that it has this, check that it has that. Remember the scenario we said about good learning? The metrics for good learning, which is attendance, participation in class, assignment completion, blah, blah, blah. Just imagine them as different stages inside the tunnel. If student A passes in there and they check for attendance is 100%, check for assignments, all assignments were completed, check for score from all assessment scores were 90 and above, check for, you see that there are different processes that student is undergoing, different checks that happens, right? At the end of the day, if the student passes all those checks, it means that the person that is coming out at the end of that tunnel is a great student. So picture the tunnel as quality assurance. Different processes. There's the functional process, which is it doing what it's supposed to do? If it is a pen, can I write with it? That's functionality. There's non-functional process like performance, meaning performance. How do I use performance with a pen? Okay, so functional, checking for functionality is once I pick a pen, a brand new pen, it should be able to write. That's functionality. A pen's major goal is for writing. So it's doing what the function it was created for. You tick that. Performance. Will the pen still write well when I've used it to write for 3 hours non-stop? Or I've used it till the ink is almost done? It's checking how the pen will function after it's been used for a long time. So I don't know how many of us remember, I don't know if Bic is still like that, but when I was in secondary school, we noticed something about Bic pen. I used to like it when I just buy the pen because there's a way it makes my handwriting fine. But when it's beginning to finish, the ink now looks really, if it's blue, now looks really thick blue. It begins to I don't know how to describe it, but it's like excess ink is coming out. It's not fine anymore. When you are writing, there's excess ink coming out. When the ink is about to finish, it doesn't write as
Overflow.
your handwriting doesn't look, yes, it overflows. Your handwriting is not very clean and neat as when you just bought the pen. That's it, failing performance. Over time, endurance test, there's a type of performance test called endurance test. Over time, the behavior begins to change. It's not as excellent as it was at the beginning. That's another check that is a software goes through. So there are many processes that an application is supposed to go through, and QA embodies all those processes. One of those processes is software testing, which is to check whether there's a defect in the application. Is it working well? Is it doing as it's supposed to do? That's one of the checks. There are so many other checks that happens in quality assurance, but software testing is one of such checks. So that's like the major difference between quality assurance is like the umbrella, is process, more process driven, right? Has different processes that is like a tunnel that if anything bad if anything enters, once they go through those processes and they excel, then it means that that's product is a good product. So some of those processes and checks will be seen in the course of this class. All right, so I won't take QC and Q because we have 10 minutes. I'll be sharing the slides. I think I'll end today's class here. Yes. So errors, defects, and failures. What's the difference? Errors are human actions that produce incorrect results. So errors, we also known errors as mistakes. Errors means it's the problem was caused by a human action. That's an error. So human actions that produce incorrect results is what we will term errors. So they are also called mistake, misuse of something by a human being. Maybe I'm trying to look for an error that is relatable. Okay, so let's still use a pen. I can't think of one. I don't know why I can't think of one. Let's still use the pen. So a human being is given a pen. You would expect that the human being will use it to write. But if the person decides to use it to give me something weird that you can use it, that someone can use a pen to do, that is not the function. Can anyone help me? I don't know why I'm not getting examples. I usually am full of examples, but today I don't have. Okay, say someone wants to use the pen as a spoon to stir food, and then the ink enters the food, and the person is shouting, this spoon you sold to me is not a good spoon. You almost poisoned me. You almost you first wonder if the person is mentally all right, right? You wonder if everything is okay with the person, because the person has used the item to do what it wasn't meant to do, and then got an issue out of it, and then person is complaining. So errors are usually caused by human actions that produce incorrect results. Defects, on the other hand, are a flaw in the code. So for example, let's use an application and the requirement document states that only emails that are Gmail, that is, that have domain at Gmail, should be able to create an account on a mobile app. The requirement document specifically states that you as the tester then come and type abc@yahoo.com and you try to sign up and it shows an error. You now start shouting, hey, there's a bug. I've spotted a bug. I've spotted a bug. I've spotted a bug. It's not a bug, because the requirement states that only Gmails should be able to create an account. So you got that error because you didn't follow the requirements, because you either forgot that Yahoo is not Gmail, they are not in the same domain, or you didn't read the requirements. So that error message that you see is not a bug, is an error, because the user did not fully understand the scope of what was to be tested. So that's a mistake. Errors and mistakes mean the same thing. Defects is a flaw in the code, a flaw in the software, a flaw in the system, a flaw in the document that makes it to fail its function. So if the code was supposed to change blue balls to black. But somewhere, somehow, when they put a blue ball, it changed it to white. It means there's something in the logic that is wrong, that is flawed. That is a defect, right? We also call defects the same thing as faults or bug. It means that the code or the system is not doing what it's supposed to do. You install a an accounting software, for example, or a budgeting software that is supposed to help you manage your finances. In your head, you are thinking, okay, with this software, I'll be able to input the items um I I spend money on, the amount, and maybe somehow the code will do a math that shows me my budget. That was that was what was advertised for the product, and that's why you downloaded that app. You now download the app, and then you see that the app is asking you to take a selfie, to post on social media, to is looking like an Instagram or is looking like a Facebook. And you're wondering, wait, what did this app say it's supposed to do? And what is it doing now that I've downloaded it? That one is a defect. The code is written to do something else. Or you're on a social media app and you take a picture and you post it. You take a picture and you say share on story, but it's created as a post. That's a defect. The code written to share on story. How many of us we have WhatsApp story now, right? So we can relate with that. You go to your phone, you click on an image and you share it to story. But instead of sharing it to story, it then sends that picture or sends that image to your contact, to a contact. You see that there's a defect, there's a flaw somewhere in that functionality. That is a defect, also known as a bug, right? So most of us would have heard software testers use, I've caught a bug. I felt so excited when I caught my first bug. That means you spotted a flaw in either the code when you were reviewing the code, or either when you were interacting with the software, or whether when you were reading the document, right? Then lastly, failures. Failures mean what it was actually supposed to do is different from what it was expected to do, right? The example I cited earlier on too, you wanted to share a picture to your story, WhatsApp story, but it sends it as a message to someone else, right? It's a deviation. Your expected result was, okay, it's like you're in the kitchen and you enter the kitchen and you see tomato, fresh tomato, fresh pepper, you see sliced onions, you see oil. In your head, you can already, and then you see rice, washed rice. In your head, what are you expecting the result will be? Freshly washed pepper, freshly washed tomatoes, um, oil, palm, granite oil, freshly washed rice, onion sliced, and meat, maybe chicken. What do you think, if they ask you what do you think is the expected end result of all these ingredients will be? Is hello? Are there still people on the call? Hello.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so what do you think the person is about to cook? Can you predict with the ingredients what is about to be cooked? Palm oil. No, I didn't say it's groundnut oil. I wanted to say no palm oil. So
Jollof rice.
tomato,
Maybe
jollof rice,
stew.
right?
Stew or jollof
Okay,
rice.
jollof rice or stew. Great. There's rice there, so yes, it can be stew or jollof rice, right? So your expectation is that is jollof rice or stew. When you now come back and you see egusi, you have plenty questions, Abby.
Yes.
You have plenty questions because the expected results versus the actual results, they are apart. They are far apart. You're wondering, wait, if it's egusi, where did the melon come from? Where did the vegetable come from? Where did the rice go to? You are you are you are wondering what magic just happened, how they converted rice to egusi and groundnut oil to palm oil, and you're wondering what's going on, right? That's the same thing with failures. When what you actually expect to happen is different from the um the end results. What actually happens when it's different from what you expected to happen. So that's what we term a failure. So these are terminologies, and why are they important? Like I said, this is the boring part of the class, the plenty, the theory part. These parts are usually important because if you're going to get into software testing, you need to know that you need to know these things. They're essentially the interview questions you will get for entry level. They want to know, okay, what do you understand by software testing? Is there any difference between software testing and QA? Can you explain the difference? What makes a great software tester? Or you might hear the question twisted at like, how those except me, for those else. Can you give me some more? Sorry about that. Okay, so this part is essentially important because it helps you answer the questions, entry level questions. These are essentially going to be, and most of the things we'll be taking in these 8 weeks, are essentially what you need to know to break in for your first interview or to get your first job, right? So they need to know how versed you are or how willing you are to learn things you don't know. So at the end of today's class, we're hoping to understand what software testing is, why it is important, the qualities of a software tester, and then introduce you to concepts such as QA, software testing, and QC. I'll be sharing this in the chat. You can, after today's class, for further reading, and maybe other resources in the course of the class. And I'll be sharing that in the course of the week because we have limited time and we have a lot of ground to cover. So are there any questions? Are there any questions? Ben Joy, it's good to see you. Are there any other questions? Do we have any? Toyin Bello, it's good to see you.
Thanks so much. No question.
All right. All right. So if there are no questions, I guess it's safe to leave it back to our host. PK, over to you. It was nice meeting everyone.
Thanks so much. Good night.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Good night.
Thank you everyone for joining. So we meet again next week, Saturday, 7 to 8:30. Remember, we have 8 weeks to go, right? So, but we can keep the questions coming in our squad, right? So yeah, let's just keep the energy going and Don't forget to, if you have any questions, please ask. That's how we learn and grow. Thank you, everyone. Have an amazing day. Bye.
Thank you. Good night.